What's up, everybody, and welcome to the House of Holocrons, episode 55. In this one, we're going to be going over the all-time best things we could pluck from the very nectar of the Force gods and the wills themselves, the best of 2023, and what an amazing year it has been. To start things off, we'll go over the collectibles, then we're going to move on to some of the stuff with, like, media, and then we'll move on to actors, characters, and best of, like, all of, which will be giving the coveted first time ever Golden Kyber Award. So look forward to fun little trinkets and stuff coming out in the future for such things like that. This is, of course, just our opinion on things, but this is going to be us pretty much going back all the way from the beginning through to the things releasing to the very last second of 2023 to figure out what really is the best of the best from the galaxy far, far away. Start that off again. The collectibles category. In collectibles, we're going to have a nice wide variety of things. If you guys ever feel like we've missed anything, while you're going down in the comment section, hit the like and subscribe button and make sure to put in those comments anything you think we missed for a category. We want to expand this show and make it even better for next year. Before we get started, I will say quickly that 2023 was definitely an amazing year for Star Wars, and we had a lot of really cool stuff. So this was a difficult time to start an award show and to start like a best of kind of thing. But it was definitely a fun like conversation that we were able to have to figure out best of for all these different kind of like categories and stuff. So then to start it off, we have the best Black Series 6-inch Star Wars action figure. As you can see, I collect a lot of those.
And keep in mind, we try to keep the release specific to 2023.
Yes.
So the release of the figure and actually in stores. And then this criteria, especially, it's kind of more for collectibles, but especially for Black Series overall. I know we had a very difficult choice for the final few of the 6-inch. And criteria we picked was unique molding, what accessories, anything overall. The complete package, best bang for your buck. Also, most want in character. We may get a cool figure, but may not be a character that we or the fan base may not be as excited about. So it's like, getting a Darth Vader compared to getting somebody more unique.
Yes.
So there's a million Darth Vaders, so.
And I'll just say a quick honorable mention to the Balin Skull figure that is now just literally like, as of today, beginning to trickle out into Walmarts. That one almost would have been on the list. It's a very fun looking figure, but I haven't had it to receive and to really grade yet. I know Mike hasn't gotten it yet either, so we can't really
I haven't
fully
seen it,
yeah. But
another even in comparison, I think our winner would still beat it.
He's just too good. So to speak on though, I do want to say the runner up, the hardest decision we've made when it came to like toys we've loved to just randomly pose around was Black Chrysanthemum.
Yes.
A very, very amazing figure, complete retooling, and as any of us long-term collectors would know from I think 2022 or the beginning of 2023, very early on, we definitely got an improvement from the original Chrysanthemum figure that we ever got. Like, almost like on the level of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie when the internet complained so much that they made the Sonic look bigger. This is kind of like that for Chrysanthemum because he did not look good.
Sometimes they're really bad with their repaints, and our first one we got was just a repainted Chewbacca, which Chrysanthemum is completely different than Chewbacca. He's thicker, bigger, and we got a really good edition of him when he's got to see them in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I hope we can see more of him. He was an awesome character.
Yes.
But even best when it comes to action figures, an awesome design. So his figure. I think the only thing that I dislike about this figure is the lack of detailing on the armor itself. The paint job, it's not painted. Other than that, the head sculpt is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's one of the best Wookiees that we've gotten.
I can say that. And he looks so different. It's so nice to see because even Zalbar was just another Chewbacca with a slightly different fur coating and stuff. So that was really nice to see, a retooling on the jaw, head, all of it. But the winner, the number one thing we found for the year of 2023, my personal number one favorite, right into the gun of this, Darth Malgus. You see those dark figures up there. We have Vader and Malgus. Malgus, a almost 7-inch figure, a very large Black Series figure, complete new sculpting. Because he's such a big figure, everything had its own tooling and everything had a really good mobility to it. And the cape being able to come down and up was amazing. The removable face mask, we got to see that with Darth Malak as well. But
the sculpt on this is much better. The sculpt in the head is one of the best. I'm guessing because it was bigger than your typical head, because he is quite large.
Yeah,
it was one of the best details we've gotten, and I'm glad they gave us the scarred look because he gets his face blown up. And then the armor detail's great.
Yeah,
I mean, like you mentioned, the hood. We've gotten a lot of hoods, and a lot of times they just do the hard plastic mold over. The fact that we got a cloth hood
that doesn't look bad, because most cloth hoods, if you try to put them up, they're just this giant triangle that just shoots off the back of their head because the way it's all folded, and you can't really do that much. It's a tiny piece of fabric. Like, you'd have to like steam it and iron it to kind of get it to crease more. But right out of the box, his hood works great.
The cloth is kind of bland. If I had an extra figure, I would, or if I really wanted to, I'd probably get some scissors and maybe cut it up a little bit and make it a little more than just like a straight piece of cloth. But again, it's still good. And then the lightsaber is great. You get a lightsaber
massive
with
too, because he is.
So yeah, it's overall, for sure, the best Black Series 6-inch figure that we've got in 2023.
Yes. So then, moving on in the collectibles, we will go to the TVC collection next, which is definitely something I've dove really heavily into these last few years. And that one is honestly, I think, a clear winner, a clear runaway. There were a lot of really good figures that came out this year for TVC, but Darth Vader Death Star 2 is without a doubt one of the best figures. For not even someone who's like a collector, I know a lot of people who got that figure who are not big figure collectors, because the card back is this beautiful shot of Sebastian Shaw, and the moment is captured, and then the figure itself, no hand, helmet removed, great sculpting.
It's probably the best Darth Vader figure we've gotten out of the action figures. The fact that the helmet comes apart properly in multiple pieces is a big one for me, because you can take the top off and relieve the under helmet, and that comes off just to leave the open helmet before he takes his helmet off in front of Luke, and then his hand, he can have a hand on or a hand off.
I wouldn't call it the definitive Darth Vader in suit figure, because of course it's always going to look a little different. The helmet's always going to be a little bigger than it technically should be when it can come apart, but it's worth it in every way because of that scene and like everything in it, and it's just such a beautiful moment, and it's a beautiful figure.
It's worth it to get that head sculpt. It's probably the best. We've only gotten a few unmasked Darth Vaders, and that's probably one of the best sculpts I've seen.
Yeah, there was a comparison, shout out to Boss Bounty, of that head sculpt and the head sculpt from the Duel's End Vader from the Kenobi figure, and that one is the Death Star 2 one is just better painted. It has the really nice, that white, ghostly skin tone that he had at the end of the movie. It's such an amazing figure. So that one takes the cake for the vintage collection carded figures. Again, I can't sing his praises enough. When I saw that one, that was one of the few this year that I was like, I've got to get that in my hands somehow. Next, we have helmets, of which I am not the super authority on, but we do have our good friend Mike here to be the authority on helmets. And the next helmet, Mike, if you'd like to go ahead and announce the winner for next helmet.
Yeah, I know we have a pretty big following for helmets, even outside of Black Series. The best helmet, we didn't get a lot this year. That was released specifically in 2023.
Yeah, a few repeats, different paints.
We got more quality this year, I will say that. We mostly got Clone Trooper and Clone Trooper 1 variant. Hopefully we get to see more. We are going to see more. But the one that really takes the cake is definitely the Scout Trooper.
Yeah.
The Clone Trooper was very close, but it's quite... The dimensions are kind of off. The Cloud Troopers... The Scout Trooper's really it's the proper size. It's sculpting everywhere. Not a lot
The
of
way the
stickers.
helmet opens.
So we don't get a lot of stickers. So some of the older helmets would just do a sticker here. This is all sculpted. Everything's sculpted on here. This isn't. It looks because the lighting, but this is actually sculpted. This isn't a sticker. The old Stormtroopers were stickers here. This is not a sticker. This is all sculpted onto the helmet. And the biggest one is the opening that we got with the jaw strap, with padding. And even if you want to take the padding out, you get full sculpting inside. So because of that, instead of the I think the other big helmet we got was the Boba Fett one.
Yeah,
it's just a repaint. So.
Love Boba Fett, but again, it's a repaint. I love his new armor. I love it. It's a repaint.
Yeah, we got 2 big helmets this year, and the ones that we definitely needed, we got, and they both were sculpted great. This one just definitely beats the Clone Trooper.
Yeah. It is a gorgeous helmet. It looks really good. Movie prop, like, you really do look like you pulled that right off the screen set for Return of the Jedi. It's an absolutely gorgeous helmet. I 100% agree.
Yeah. Like I said, it's great that they started going away from stickers and like even here and here, everywhere, even all the details is all sculpted. Even on this side, this isn't a sticker. It's actually like stamped on here, so I can't just peel this off.
That's always good. Yeah, going away from stickers is a huge thing. Hasbro's quality control has gone a lot higher with the demand. Thankfully, hey, if we're paying a little bit more and they're going to do better stuff like this, okay.
Yeah,
as we see it.
The price of the helmets were already kind of high for what we were getting. They were still decent quality, but now they're starting to rival prop makers that make helmets for sure. So yeah.
Yep.
Definitely Scout Trooper for the helmet.
So next we have lightsaber, and what a year for lightsabers. We're actually looking through it. There were a lot of really good lightsabers that were re-released as a better design or just simply straight up released for the first time this year. The winner is a first release for this year, and it is going to be the Disney official, the Savvy's Kanan Jarrus Caleb Doom lightsaber. It comes apart the way it's supposed to with the proper holster method, so you can actually wear it on your belt like he did. It looks gorgeous. You were a big proponent of this, and it made me look at it, and I almost drooled a little bit. The metal on the casing is just so well done.
I know it's difficult because we've got a couple versions of the lightsabers from Survivor.
Yeah.
And then we got that
was a close
re-release of Ahsoka's sabers that are more fitting. Those ones are difficult, but and we wanted to keep this within the realm of Disney or Disney owned and not doing different individual makers. I know there's some great makers out there, and there's a million of them.
Yep.
We want to keep it within Disney, and even within the Disney parks, this was the #1 rated fan lightsaber. It's just so beautiful. It reminds me of another beautiful lightsaber is like Count Dooku's with the shine, and you get that similar shine with the saber, and it's got a really basic design on the hilt. It's got the solid black and the switch, and you get the top part reminiscent of old school sabers back in the day, with the top part that comes off, which is awesome to have, and it has its own unique clips. You can do them on your belt, like he does, if you want. Which is the only. It's great when they go that extra mile.
Right, because it's the only lightsaber that does that we know of right now, to be that modular.
And it needed to be, because it's the whole point of the saber, but they didn't have to. The fact that they went that extra mile, and they don't charge it any more than any other lightsaber of the similar style, is just that sweet little cherry on top. That put it definitely ahead of the other lightsabers.
And this one, I believe, is still able to be picked up, or if nothing else, like they're floating around a lot. The second up that was very close again, the Cal Kestis and Sierra Junda like dual saber. That one was gorgeous, but it's a very limited release. It was a very special only release, which is why it kind of like, as much as it was very pretty, it knocked it down a little bit in our eyes too, because it was so limited. Whereas the Kanan Jarrus one, have at it. Like let's go.
Yeah, they re-released it. They have it in the parks, and it comes in periodically. I don't know if they have it currently in stock, but they should restock it. On Disney Store, they had it in stock. It's sold out. I'm sad that I didn't pick it up. Hopefully one day I'll be able to pick that saber up.
Yeah.
It is now on my list of to buy sabers for sure.
Right. It's like, hey, Disney, if you ever want anyone to rate and judge your lightsabers, please send them to us. We will happily do so. But moving on then from lightsaber. So again, lightsaber winner for the year of 2023 is Kanan Jarrus Caleb Dune lightsaber. The last one.
The last and the most premier of the collectibles.
Ooh.
Will be our statues.
And these were looking for more like mid to high grade levels.
Yeah, these are typically your 6 scale figures, kind of like this Hot Toy Rex right here. So these are your ones that are pretty expensive, and typically you see different creators. Your big ones are like General Giant, Hot Toys, Sideshow. Your main makers of these. Like I said, again, we are sticking to official merchandise when it comes to the collectibles. So I believe our winner is the Hot Toys Bespin Luke Skywalker.
Yes, when you showed me that one, it was a clear, decisive winner. It looks so good.
There's so many great this year, but and overall the Luke Skywalker Bespin. Especially the deluxe, you get the helmet where he sees himself in Dagobah as Darth Vader. You get you get the different platforms, the Bespin glowing platform. You get, and you get his awesome outfit, which I don't think we've had in Hot Toys before. So that was cool to see that. You get his blaster. So if you want to have a saber blaster, you can. You get get kind of a Hoth-looking platform. I think it's I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's Hoth because like snow, or it might be Dagobah. I might be thinking it might be saying that snow. Yeah, it's Dagobah. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, Dagobah themed. So you get both Dagobah and Bespin because you go straight after. It's just the head sculpt is probably the cleanest Luke head sculpt that actually looks like Luke.
Yeah. Very, very, very captured right off from the film. It's so well done, and the jumpsuit, the tracksuit looks both tight and loose. Like it looks like he's wearing it, but it's not like tight on him.
And the belt, it looks straight from the movie for sure. Yeah. Again, I can't be solid enough how great that head sculpt is. I don't think we've gotten such a clean head sculpt for Luke Skywalker, especially for this year. It's just overall. For 2023.
And as much as we love the clones, we love troopers, we love things like that. At the end of the day, it's an easier thing to do a helmet than a face. So a good face sculpt like that is just breathtaking to look at. Always everything.
Well, when you get in the 6 scale, though, your troopers do get like this Rex, his helmet does come off. He has a full sculpt, so it's not fully on that. We got some cool troopers, but it's just overall, and especially having an actor like with the face like that, it's just the look. He would have gotten beat if by 1 month we have a Darth Vader coming out in January that would have won for sure.
Oh yeah, that Vader duels in Vader, the damaged helmet, and so it's so
if we don't get anything better than that Vader though, I might be swayed with the Cad Bane that comes out next December that I had pre-ordered. But the Obi-Wan Darth Vader from your favorite scene where he's got his face, a scar shows the Anakin's face and everything. That one, it's just so beautiful. Yep. So we're looking forward to some awesome statues next year.
Oh yeah, next year's gonna have a lot of awesome stuff for this lovely award ceremony. So to move on then into the media category, we're gonna immediately jump into game, and of course, it's hands down the best game of the 2023 year for Star Wars was Jedi Survivor. It is feverishly good. It is so much fun. I've already replayed it a few times. Got to get that red lightsaber and do my new playthrough plus. The story with Marin, the story with Cal. If we don't get to see Cal Kestis in live action before too long, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to be so upset because Cameron is such an amazing actor and it's literally him. Like it is him. So yeah, game has to be Jedi Survivor. So beautiful.
This year we only gotten a few games and it's only our AAA game. I believe we've gotten a couple like really small basic stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't Survivor for sure. Out of newer games, it would be up there. It'd be competition with its predecessor.
See, in my eyes, even for like main game awards, I don't think that remakes, unless they really change the game entirely, should be made for Game of the Year awards. And Baldur's Gate, of course, is going to win. But had you taken out Resident Evil remakes and that crap, Survivor should have been up there. Like, it was a hard year for Survivor because there were a lot of good games in the gaming verse. But Survivor held its own. It was a very good game.
Yeah, it did what it needed to do because it took the successful first game and it elevated it to that next level. So it kept the familiarity that we wanted from the first game that made it so awesome, but it made it better by adding the new combat styles,
so much better,
more customization. And then the improved story.
Yeah,
and so yeah, it for sure. Like I said, if we had other Star Wars games, if we had another Battlefront, I would still pick this, unless they somehow come out with a good Battlefront. But I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it would beat that story mode. It's just so good. But so best game 2023, Jedi Survivor, hands down. That's an easy one. Next, we're going to be going into book. Now, this was a bit of a conversation between us because there's been a lot of amazing book out. Sadly, I have not read, but only a few of them. Hunters was one of them, the Hunters Guild one, and then a Crimson Climb Yet. But from all the things that I have read versus what Mike has read, High Republic coming in strong, very close. We do, of course, didn't have the Eye of Darkness as the most recent release, but I will have to be giving this award to a personal favorite of mine, Rise of the Red Blade. This book was one of the most amazing books I have ever read in a long time, inside, outside of the Star Wars universe, written by Delilah S. Dawson. Guys, definitely go check out Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade, because the story of Iskat, this amazing Inquisitor we can see here, is a great story. It's filled with so much heartache and pain, but also then like the dark side, getting to see a side of the Inquisitors we've never gotten to see. If you've ever wanted an Inquisitor show, this is going to make you just want one even more, because this is a really good side of the Inquisitors. Like their training was so much different, and there were a lot more of them than I thought there were. There were a lot of Inquisitors.
Yeah, it's something that, like we mentioned before, that was kind of recycled from Legends, but done to look less cheesy, even though sometimes the spinning blade looks dumb. But we've gotten some awesome additions for Inquisitors.
Yeah.
This is not a book I'm familiar with, but out of the books I did read, I had some pretty good choices for High Republic. So it was a hard debate, but I did take his word for it on this one. He was really excited about this book.
I've been, this one's been something I've been feverish about since it came out. I was able to read it even to now. And I mean, even like Eye of Darkness, which is a crazy wild ride. The High Republic, as amazing as it is, it just could not beat that story to me. So yeah, he was able to relent my crazy tirading.
If we had Phase 1 this year, would you be able to compete with Phase 1?
Yeah, no, that's I would honestly know, yes, because again, Rise of the Red Blade is that good. Okay. It is a must read for me. Anyone who likes the dark side, who likes Sith, who likes stuff like that, you have to read Rise of the Red Blade.
And speaking of, another thing is I don't really dip too much in the comics. I haven't read a Star Wars comic in years.
Which, man, you're missing out. All of you guys are missing out on some of the best lore you've ever seen.
So on the next category, comics, this is definitely yours.
Yes, so comics, we are giving it to the amazing Yoda series, comic individually, issue number 10, the culmination, the end, the finale of the entire Yoda series. What an absolutely amazing series and comic. I know a lot of people gave some awards to Vader, a lot of people giving some awards to Afro, which is actually going to be ending very beginning next year, which was very powerful. And when I choose the best of the comics, that is not taking away from the other ones, because they're all just so good. So let's remember that for all of these awards. If your thing we didn't choose, don't think it's because we don't like it. there were just other things about these other things that we liked more. So if you have a favorite that you feel like should have been the winner, put that in the comments as well down below while you're hitting that like and subscribe button. But Yoda number 10 has powerful moments and some of the best artwork I've ever seen. The moment when we get to see that Yoda, spoilers, learns by going into the dark cave how to deal with that darkness in him after failing to defeat Sidious, how to let go and allow Luke to then take on the Jedi way, to forgive himself for failing what he believes is the Jedi Order and the galaxy at large, and then finding out that Count Dooku killed Yaddle. And what we see in Tales of the Jedi when he does that, that's the first time Yoda has found this out in the dark cave on Dagobah. And it's just crazy awesome. It's an amazing comic with a lot of action. The whole series spanning from the High Republic all the way through to Empire Strikes Back. What an amazing comic series. I can't give it enough laurels, which it totally deserves. So beautiful, amazing covers. Yoda definitely wins for this one. And then, continuing on in our awesome media, we will be going on to animation. So, comic book come to life, on the big screen. And that one we will be giving away to Mike, if you'd like to take that one away.
Well, the animations, is a criteria overall. We got a lot for animation, especially you got a Bad Batch Season 2,
Yep.
Which was fantastic, and my original choice. But looking and discussing at overall what we get out of quality, and this counts in just the visuals, the artist work, and just the show in general. And then I think we ended up settling on Visions for our animation of 2023.
Vision Season 2 was amazing and had a little something for everybody. Like, it really encapsulated the beautiful side of Star Wars that is everyone is welcome because any story counts. We had like this really nice claymation lovey-dovey, just like a mom and her kid. We had like crazy Inquisitor stuff. We had terrifying Sith things. We had hopeful Jedi moments. It had everything in it, and it from all over the world. These amazing studios were able to put their heart and soul into a Star Wars project. Me personally, from Visions 2, Screecher's Reach, as you all know, is my absolute favorite. What a great animation that was.
And then we couldn't agree, so my choice was Bandits of Golak.
Yep. So we just chose Visions Season 2 as a whole because we couldn't even agree on when it. We were just, and they're both so good. I even also agree Bandits of Golak was so well done. So Visions Season 2, winner of the best animation of 2023 with such amazing great work. Can't wait for Visions Season 3. 2024 is going to have so many amazing things in it. More Bad Batch too.
A shout out to Bad Batch
and
the people working on Bad Batch as well as Young Jedi. We didn't ignore Young Jedi. That was also great animation that we got this year.
Yep. Oh yeah, Young Jedi definitely in there. Definitely. So we will be moving on now to the best series of 2023, that which released. We will be giving that to Mandalorian Season 3 for obvious reasons. Destruction of the Darksaber, Moff Gideon's dope-ass armor, the Imperial Super Commandos, wrecking a ship into a planet, Mandalore's not dead. We can keep going on forever. Mandalorian Season 3 was packed full of stuff.
I feel like we definitely picked up the pace with this season compared to what we've gotten in last. There were so many good moments of Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah.
We've gotten some new characters, we've gotten some new storylines, we've gotten some really big moments which we will get talking about later that made the decisions very difficult.
And we also got just some random cool things. I liked Mandalorian Season 3 so much because I know a lot of us, when we first saw those Mandalorian survivors that had survived for all those years on Mandalore, we all almost collectively were those guys are traitors, right? Those are traitors, right? Those are traitors. I thought those are totally bad guys, right? They're working for the Empire, right? No. That the last few episodes and the last bit of Mandalorian Season 3, I had no idea what was gonna happen. It was I literally, aside from knowing that it was gonna come to a big fight, I had no idea if someone was going to backstab somebody, if somebody was going to decide to not help. It was edge of my seat action.
We got to see Mandalorian live action, And we also got to see the Imperial Super Commandos. And
Some
we
of,
also got to see the
amazing fights
in between Magna Guard. So not the full one that we get later on that Kylo Ren fights.
Yeah, some nice Praetorian guards.
So this is like the kind of the upgraded from what we got in
Return
the
of the
Star
Jedi,
Wars movies. So these are they're kind of like I said, the in between, and we get to see that fight with Paz, which was awesome.
So good.
Because that's the funny thing is there's supposed to be these like, the top fighters, the honor guard for the Emperor Palpatine. We just always see them stand there. So to see them fight, and this version was pretty
new
awesome.
armor, new weapons.
And we got to see the new sleek Super Commandos. We got to see just more Mandalorians. Even the beginning of the season, we got to see the rituals.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see
Mythosaur.
We had so many theories about what would happen throughout this whole show. And it was, just one thing after the other. It was definitely the premiere series overall.
And like a lot of amazing things happened. A lot of other shows were absolutely amazing and will be talked about for many reasons in later parts of this episode today, guys. But yeah, season 3 just had everything. And it also spawned one of my favorite romances in Star Wars now, Din and Bo. I don't care what anyone else says. I'm off on the Din Bo ship hard. I'm 100% there for those two getting together. I really, really, really think Mandalorian, even going forward, is going to just get better and better until it finally ends in the movie. I'm happy it's going to come to an end. Nothing needs to go on forever. So, speaking of continuing on, we are getting into the big section, one of our last sections. This is going to be actors and characters. This is going to be the best of the best. This is to us going to be the highest accolades for individuals who have not only brought a character to life in the Star Wars galaxy far, far away, but made them feel so, so close in our hearts and our minds and our souls. Starting off, we will be going with voice acting, an extremely important job in Star Wars now that animation has taken such a pivotal role in the Star Wars universe. Not to mention, how else are we going to get all these amazing aliens and cyborgs and robots besides voice actors? So, very close fight between a few of the others, but he runs away with it. He's literally everyone if he's not one of the main characters. D. Bradley Baker, our boy, I gotta give the shout out. D. Bradley Baker, every single clone, all of the Bad Batch, except for Omega.
The fact that he
and Nubs.
Voiced the Bad Batch and was able to make them so unique with each other and make them sound completely different from the other clones that he's voicing within the show. He essentially voices at least 50% of the show,
right?
And he's having conversations with himself, and he's able to do it. He does a great job. The text voice is awesome. I mean, I can't. They're so unique.
And emotional. Character. Oh, he can give such an emotional. Like you said, he's literally talking to himself about sacrificing himself to save himself, and he makes you cry just thinking about Plan 99. Like, it just sucks.
And it's something that's kind of needed because they're all clones of the same guy. So the fact that they use the same voice actor kind of should be that way, but he does it. He goes that step above that you question, is it really the same guy for each one? And yet they're still kind of that whole reminiscent of their clones, but it's still unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's just the fact that he does 5 of the main characters for the show, one of the biggest shows this year that we've gotten. It's
but then it's just amazing. Yeah, he's like having these crazy awesome moments that are super heartfelt or action packed, and then you go to Young Jedi Adventures and this little blue thing running around, and it's like, oh, that's also him. Just having a great time. Yeah, D. Bradley Baker, an amazing man. If you can ever meet this person, highly recommend it. Such a kind soul and a great person. So next we'll be going to Best Supporting. That is a side character, not the main squeeze, but we're not talking about like just like a Glub Shido either. And this one is going to be going out to Hugh Yang, and of course played by David Tennant. I think Hugh Yang is probably some of the best comedy we've gotten since like OG R2 and C-3PO. For like being a sassy droid counterpart, Hugh Yang delivers in spades some really hilarious moments when he's just dissing Sabine.
He reprises the role from the Clone Wars.
Yes.
And he does an excellent job. I'm glad they're able to get some of the original voice actors into the real roles. He being one of them. And I mean, he's done fantastic roles outside of Star Wars with Doctor Who, Harry Potter, and some other roles. So he's not new to the acting scene by any means, but it was great that we got the right voice for Hugh Yang, and it did a great job. He was almost a main character for Ahsoka, so
right.
it wasn't really needed for the show, but him being there definitely made the show better.
It definitely only added to it. That's something I always like to see when it doesn't take away from the show at all. His moments to try to be funny or to make a little quip. It was 100% a necessity that he was there. He held a lot of strong moments in the show and like helped deliver a lot of good stuff. But then like also was really good at just saying a quick line in the background, it making everyone laugh, breaking attention, and moving on. So yeah. Hugh Yang is also just an amazing role, and I can't wait to see more Hugh Yang in the future of Star Wars because he's gonna hopefully one of these days tell us the history of the galaxy, right? Right. That's what I hope for.
So our next category is the best stunt double for 2023.
Yep, which is a huge part of Star Wars. These fight scenes and these moments are crucial to building that character mythos, and we can't go around breaking, people's... as much as Katie Sackhoff likes to do her own stunts, we can't have her breaking her legs because she's jumping off of stuff. So... with a lot of really good stunt doubles too. Like this was a very big debate that I figured wouldn't be that hard, but it was.
We had 3 or 4 names, and this is I know it's easy to give to the 2 stunt doubles for Din, which is Brandon Wayne and Lateef Crowder, but when you look at overall of stunts that were done, the quality, the movements, everything. And stunts are a huge part of Star Wars, even when you go back to the original, the fights, everything. They just get more grander and grander. And then we toss some ideas around with the Tom O'Connell for which is Paz is the stunt double. Most people don't know these stunt doubles because they're not the final face you see
or the voice you hear, like with Jon Favreau as Paz. But like the fight scene again, where we have Paz up against those awesome Praetorian Guard, red armored people. That was a gorgeous fight, and that takes a lot of dedication and a lot of muscle memory and work. But the winner definitely well deserved winner. So number 1 amazing stunt actress is Michelle Lee. What an amazing job that was done for the Ahsoka series. The fights against Balin, the fights against Hayden Christensen, or Anakin Skywalker in that stunt double. The heavy amount of use that was within the environment, running around, movement, the style of fighting too, like really capturing the essence of Ahsoka fighting the way that she does. So definitely,
the Ahsoka stunts and fights that we got were the most grand that we've gotten any of the other stunts that we've gotten. We had some great with Ezra, we got some great with Paz, great with Din, but with Ahsoka, she just had the bigger, grander, and probably the most fights that we've gotten this year. So the award will definitely go with Michelle Lee.
Yes, 100%.
Our next category is the best new character for Star Wars. And that one will go to... that one was a little bit debate back and forth, which you'll find out why after we do best new character. So this is... for this category also to meet the criteria, we wanted a character that was added this year. This was limited with some of the other shows. With Ahsoka, we got several of them, but for sure, our best new character is Baylan Skoll.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Shin was a very close second.
Yep.
But just Baylan, his presence, everything. He's just what I wanted out of a Sith character, without being, what we get as the Sith. I guess you can call like a non-Sith
Dark Jedi.
He just was. His movements were reminiscent of the old Darth Vader that we knew and loved from the old stuff.
Right.
And then he just looked awesome with his armor and the way he carried himself. It just, it's something a character we hope to see return to the screen.
Oh, 100%.
Even though the actor himself will not be able to reprise that role.
Yes. Sad that Rey has passed on, but we need to see more Baylan, because it's just to have given us such an amazing story, such an amazing new character, and then for it not to go anywhere would be a absolute travesty. I think the character needs to live on and move on and immortalize who he was in that first season, but then become something newer and let that story continue. It's such an amazing character. He did so good bringing him to life. He was this Arthurian knight lost in this ancient Wild West / samurai flick. And it was so amazing. He had such a different air about him. He had such a different ambiance, and the way he controlled the scenes, and the way he was, the way he fought, the way he went up, the way he spoke instead of fighting. He always spoke first, if you notice. He didn't just start fighting ever.
It was no question that he was powerful or not. When you saw him against Ahsoka, you didn't want to question. Ahsoka should beat him, right? Mm-hmm. And my first thought seeing him is Ahsoka has no chance of him, and that's great when you see a villain. You don't want something that can be a pushover. We know Ahsoka's powerful, but we also want, for the sake of story, to have a great character.
Right.
So the way he carried himself, just him walking into the room. And then piggybacking off, because normally this would be additional category.
Yeah.
But we have our best actor. So this doesn't have to be a new character, but it was the best actor that acted in a role of 2023, and that actor will also go to Ray Stevenson for his role of Baylan Skoll.
Now, close debate with having Thrawn, with having Ezra Bridger. There were the casting choices this year were perfect. And Lars Mikkelsen, he cannot say how good he did coming into live action screen for being Thrawn. And Ezra Bridger, all of them, just amazing casting. But Ray Stevenson brought something to Star Wars that was, like you said, so needed, so wanted, and so rare. That good dark Jedi. He's not evil. He's not good, but he's not a good guy. He's not kind. He has motives for himself and for his own preservation and power and stuff like that. He's not redeemable, or he's not because he doesn't think he's doing anything bad, and he's not pushing his limit. There is duality in the character. There is so much in his character, and he brought so much of that to life through his acting.
We get some great actors and great roles from Mandalorian, from Bad Batch. From everything, but for his acting and his role, I wanted more of him. I wanted more. I felt like he didn't get enough screen time. Every time he was on the screen, I was happy. I
immediately wanted a Shin and Baylan show. I needed more.
And and I said, in memoriam to Ray Stevenson, may he live on. And he will with his. He definitely left with a bang. That's for sure.
Yes, 100%.
That he hit Star Wars hard, and hopefully we will see more Baylan.
Yeah.
But Ray Stevenson, the actor, best actor for 2023.
Yes. So now, moving on, we will get into the best moment. A part of 2023 in which everyone was, again, edge of your seat, just waiting and bated breath, What was the moment that had everyone clinched and just screaming with joy?
Well, and this is the scene that was in a show on 2023 that it was either from a show or as an animation like we got with with 99, we got with the entrance of Thrawn, we got with the fight with the Darksaber getting broken.
Yep.
We got every epic moment, but when it came down to the big moment of 2023.
Yes. The return of Anakin Skywalker. Wow, who didn't see that coming? Hayden Christensen reprising his amazing role as Anakin Skywalker to come teach Ahsoka the final lesson, the thing she needed the most to learn and move her on her way to become a better Jedi. And not only was the fight great, not only was the conversation great, but also the things we just got to witness with our little eyes. That was amazing. Young Ahsoka, live action Clone Wars.
So this, the scene specifically from Ahsoka, the final lesson.
Yes.
Which included when she went into a world between worlds, whether it was or wasn't.
Yeah, the world between worlds between worlds.
Debate about if it was or wasn't, but the moment where she met Anakin again, where she went through stages of memories through the Clone Wars, we got to see minor Ahsoka through different stages. We had different costumes that looked, and we got to see the Clone Wars itself in a live action, and then a final duel between the two, where they both go into dark side versions. We got to see some cool Sith eyes. We got to see final speeches, and it was the final lesson of Anakin that she needed to complete her character.
Yep.
And
it was a pivotal moment. It was a huge moment.
And the fight choreography between the two were awesome. One of the reasons why we picked the stunt double that we picked was one of these scenes. It was the epic moment of 2023.
And not only just the things that we got to witness with the fight and with that, but then also just the visual aid that they put along, like how when Hayden is coming out of the smoke, it flashes between him being Anakin and Vader with the red lightsaber. Just those little things they added there just made it such a gorgeous moment in Star Wars.
And how to do an epic mystical flashback that wasn't a full flashback, but it was kind of like a magic was like showing you your past.
Yeah.
So the part with the smoke, which is necessary because Geonosis, they had like the Battle of Geonosis and stuff running through, and it was just smoke coming through and blaster fire, just the confusion of war, and she's popping out. All of a sudden, she's a little girl, or just awesome part that we get to see. Where was she during this part in the movie? So we kind of gotten answers to that, and also just got to see what she what would Clone Wars live action look like?
Live action Rex, things like that. Yeah, it was definitely a crazy good moment. It had everybody in a fever the next day on social media and in the rest of the Star Wars fandom. Just absolutely enthralled with that episode. Great fights, great music, great ambiance, great character development. It had everything, and that's why it has to, of course, be the best moment in 2023. And so now, guys, we're going to move on to the big one. We're going to get to something super huge here. And with the help of Balin and Shin and Ezra, with the help of the amazing stunt doubles, with the help of scores and scenes that just blew us away, the newly coveted, crowned and minted Golden Kyber Award, the big accolade that we, the House of Holocrons podcast, will be giving in our yearly reviews to a show, not a set of moments, the thing that feels the most like Star Wars just squeezed into a juice and put through a blender. The thing that really just resonated with everything and everyone and just helped bring about the culmination of what it is to be a Star Wars fan in the year of 2023. Long story short, we're going to be giving the Golden Kyber Award to the Ahsoka series.
And this award is our premier award reserved specifically for the piece of Star Wars that resonated this year that just everything was the best of the best.
Yeah.
And looking at everything completely, we ended the year with a bang with Ahsoka. The series provided so much with it. They just, we've gotten these kind of spin-off shows before, like Book of Boba Fett, but with this series, we definitely want to see more to the story for sure.
Yeah.
There's no question. I got to know what happens now. If they leave us dry like they did Book of Boba Fett, I don't see how me or other fans will be able to continue. So hopefully we get to see more. They used a fan favorite character, and brought it out with a bang. We got great new characters or live action additions, renditions of previous characters.
Two amazing key people from the Clone Wars and Rebels series, the animation series, brought onto the live action screen.
And when we talked about our best moments, our best actors, best everything, Ahsoka series was always brought up every time. So it was the premiere, the everything, the Golden Kyber for sure.
Yep, because wrapped up in that, some of these best moments, of course, have to be things like the return of Anakin Skywalker in the episode Anakin's Final Lessons, or Ahsoka's Final Lessons. But it's mind-shatteringly amazing how it's one of those moments like when Luke Skywalker first showed up in The Mandalorian and people were crying. When we got to see live-action Hayden walk onto screen and then take young Ahsoka through the entirety of the Clone Wars to teach her final lesson about letting go, about like not allowing herself to give in to this, that she's only for killing, she's only for this war, to become a Jedi again, to fully move on with herself and become the better teacher and master, force of being that she has to be. What an amazing show. What an amazing moment to get to see. And then the duel between them where they flashing between the dark side. Like it's just so good. So we've handed out the Golden Kyber Award. We have spoken about how the Ahsoka series just in a whole was able to capture our hearts and our imagination. We're so ready to see the future of it too. Let's not forget about how things are going to go into this Mandoverse movie, this heir to the Empire vibe that's now being given off. And this is going to really culminate into something big for Star Wars. And that's another thing that helps it become the Golden Kyber Award, is because this is something that's going to seed a new hope, a new bastion of Star Wars as we get moving on into 2028 or however long it takes to tell the rest of the story.
So yes, our very first episode of the Golden Kyber Awards of 2023. So we look forward to coming a year from today in 2024 with more Star Wars. We're talking more collectibles, more books, more games, more shows, more... Who knows?
Because we'll be getting a lot. I mean, we'll have Outlaw coming out for games. We have the books from Phase 3 to finish out the High Republic coming out, no doubt. With Mace Windu book also, and some of things like that from Phantom Menace era coming out as well. We have
some new figures being announced, but
lots of anniversaries.
4 new shows, I believe, coming out.
So we have plenty of shows to talk about.
But the biggest thing is there's so much Star Wars that we don't get that is not teased. So there's still out there stuff that we don't know that's coming out. That still is going to come out this coming year of 2024. And, it still is looking brighter for Star Wars.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be an amazing new year once we get into the new year for 2024. And I am definitely very excited. In the new year, we will not have an episode, guys, because beginning of January is my birthday. So I'm going to be a little busy, and I'm not going to worry about recording that much. But make sure, again, in this comment section, if you feel we didn't just touch on something that should have been touched on, a category, not just a winner. If you could think of an entire category that should be introduced into the show, put it into the comment section. We want to flesh this out and have a really awesome awards ceremony that a lot of Star Wars fans can just have a good time in. If you want us to start taking polls, hey, make yourself known down in the comments through the like system, through the messaging system, however you want. and we'll add polls if we can get enough people together to do such a thing. So make sure to interact with us. We want that interaction to help the channel grow, not only just for the growth of the channel, but then for the growth of the community itself. Be sure to also, of course, share the video with anyone who you want to share in this opinion of, oh my god, I can't believe they got this right. Can you believe this one? Or, oh my gosh, this was such a good point. I didn't think of this. Put it out there, throw it around, and let's really have next year be an amazing award ceremony. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I look forward to the next year of 2024 for the shows that are coming out, for the comics, for the books. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I think the number one thing I'm the most excited for is probably the Acolyte. Everyone knows I was going to say the Acolyte. It's the Acolyte. What about you, Mike?
I don't know. We get some great collectibles coming out next year that I've been excited for. The Sabine helmet I pre-ordered for over a year now. I got a Sabine helmet pre-ordered. I got a 6-inch pre-ordered. There's a couple. I mean, the show I was anticipating got delayed, but Acolyte for sure is my show. I don't see how the other shows are going to be anywhere close. I'm hoping that show is going to rock it out of the world. We got a new High Republic phase now starting, so we're going to get some great books and comics from that.
Oh yeah.
It is definitely the only thing I don't not super familiar with is some of the like the TVC. I know there's a couple coming out, but I haven't seen anything that I'm major excited for this year.
Right.
But I'm sure there is. I'm not stopping collecting them. So yeah, it'll definitely be a great award show.
Yeah.
Probably harder than we had this year.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of powerful moments with Skeleton Crew, the Acolyte, the new Tales of the Jedi, the new Bad Batch. Yeah, 2024 is going to be a very powerful year, and we can continue on with all this new stuff as Star Wars just constantly gets this new revitalization every single year. What an amazing time to be a Star Wars fan. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Have an amazing rest of your evening and a great new year. And may the Force serve you well.
And may the Force be with you.